Hello, boys and girls. We have been reading our story, Life in a Pond. The author is Carol K. Lundeen. And remember, there is no illustrator. No one drew the pictures in this story. Instead, since it's a nonfiction book, they used real life pictures to talk about life in a pond. And today we're going to be on page number 8. So go ahead and turn there, and we are going to be using pictures and words to help us answer questions that we might have. So I actually have a question right here. And first off, what animal is this? Go ahead and tell yourself or tell a grown-up, what animal is this? It's a fish. It's a fish. And do you remember, how do fish breathe? They're swimming underwater, and when you're standing outside the water, you breathe with your breath, and you're breathing in the air, but how do fish breathe underwater? Now, something we can do is use a clue in our story, in the words, to figure out how fish breathe. Let me read it to you. It says, pond animals. Many kinds of fish swim in a pond, and fish breathe through their gills. How do fish breathe? They breathe through their gills. So on the side, right over here, if you look very closely, you'll see a little line, and those are the gills, and that's how they breathe underwater. All right, now I have another question for you that we need to try to figure out. What animal are these? They are ducks. Now, how do ducks get water? How do they look for food? Sorry. How do ducks look for food? Think in your brain. Think, how do they look for their food? And what's something that we could do to try to figure out that answer? We could read the words. The words might give us a clue as to how ducks find their food. It says, ducks swim in the water. They eat insects. Ducks also dive underwater to look for food. So how do ducks find their food? They dive under the water. All right, last page. What animal are these? They are frogs. Now, I'm wondering, what kind of food does frogs eat? What do frogs eat? What do you think? How could we find the answer to that? What could we do? We could read the words, and let's see if we can figure out, what do frogs eat? This says frogs kick and swim in the water. Frogs eat insects. So what do frogs eat? They eat insects. Very good. Now we're going to talk about something else with these couple pages. And in these pages, there were a bunch of different animals, and then there were some actions that the animals did. Now, you don't need to do this. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. You're going to do something else later. But I'm just going to write them down for us. So we read different animals, and each of the animals have a different action that they do. So let's read here. It says many kinds of fish. So that's our animal. Fish swim in a pond. So that's the action that they do. They swim in a pond. Now, let's keep reading. Fish breathe through their gills. Breathe is another action. That's something that they do. So fish swim, and also fish breathe. So I'm going to write and breathe. Remember, you don't have to do this. You can if you really want to. You can write this down with me. but you don't have to. All right, so fish, the animal fish, they swim and breathe. Those are the actions that fish can do. Now let's look at this page. Ducks, ooh, that's another animal. So I'm gonna write ducks. Let me draw a quick picture of a duck. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. A duck, let's see what ducks do. Let's see their actions. Ducks swim in the water. Ooh, so ducks swim. They also swim. So I'm going to write swim. They eat insects, and ducks also dive under to look for food. So they also dive. That's another action that they do. They dive underwater. So fish swim and breathe underwater, and ducks swim and dive underwater. All right, let's see our last animal. Let's see, it says frogs. That's our other animal, frogs. Frogs, let's see what they do. Frogs kick and swim in the water. So they kick and swim. So they swim also. They swim and they do what? Kick. They swim and kick. So these are the different animals that we learned about. Fish, ducks, and frogs. And these are the different actions that they do. They can swim and breathe. The ducks swim and dive. And the frogs swim and kick. Now, this is your turn. Remember, you didn't have to do this. You could if you want to, but you don't have to. Now, what you are going to do is you're going to go onto Seesaw. And you're going to go to this activity. It says Life in a Pond, Animals and Their Actions. You're going to click on Add Response. I'm going to click on my sample student. Now, you can first listen to the directions.
Hello, boys and girls. You are going to need to match the animal to the action that it does. I'm going to read them for you.
I'm not going to play all of that, okay? But you can listen to the directions where I tell you what these words say. So you'll listen to the words. It'll say the red smiley face says swim and breathe through gills. So which one of these animals swims and breathes through gills? You'll click on it. Whoops. You'll click on the picture. Oh, it doesn't want to do it for me. There we go. And then you'll move it over to the square that you need it to go. Okay, so you'll click on the picture and then move it to the square. Then the next one says swim and dive underwater. Which one of these animals swims and dives under the water? You'll click on it and then move it to where it needs to go. All right, I hope you have fun doing that, and I'll see your work on Seesaw.